Hi, this is Lisa from the Amplified Female Entrepreneur podcast. I decided to hire Adam because I knew I was being guided to create and launch a podcast, but I had zero clue where to start. The idea felt so overwhelming, especially since I'm not tech savvy and was honestly scared of the whole process. The best part about working with Adam is his energy. It's absolutely infectious. He made everything so simple and guided me through every step of the way. Thanks to him, I launched my podcast so much faster than I ever expected, and I now have sustainable game plan moving forward. I can't believe how easy he made it. Thank you, Adam, for making this journey so effortless and exciting. I couldn't have done it without you.
What's up, pod pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you're listening to Podcasting Business School. It's a show where I teach podcasters how to love your podcast like a hobby and build it like a business. If you're an online business owner looking to learn how to leverage your podcast to get more clients, you're in the right spot. And today I got a hot topic. I'm going to unpack a framework, a strategy that might very well save your podcast and your online business. I've been talking simplification this year a lot. The feedback from you all has been tremendous, so we're going to continue down this path. I've been preaching simplification, doing less but better, and the message that I'm getting in response to that from you all is this is what I needed to hear. So this is what I'm going to keep kind of preaching and teaching. I know in the online space, we are told to do more, feel the FOMO. Why aren't you doing this? Oh my God, I can't believe you aren't doing this. I hear this daily in my DMs. On threads, when I say, hey, I don't post YouTube videos, people rip me. Oh, I quit doing TikTok last year. People rip me. Oh, I don't do LinkedIn. People rip me. And I'm just kind of sitting back going, this is what I do. And I'm going to do what works for me. And I want to kind of champion that. So I've been working really hard to come up with a framework, a tool, a strategy that I can say, hey, pod pals that listen to my show, hey, clients, this is how we do this. This is how we do less but better. So I've created that. We're going to unpack it today. I'm very excited for this. I think it's going to help a lot of you to just have a set process of, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to listen to this episode. I'm going to make some notes. If you guys are in my Download Growth Club membership, or if you're in my online business academy for podcasters, I created a whole Google Sheet tool that you guys will have access to by the time this episode goes live. So you can go right in there, and I built it all out for you. And I want you guys to go through this process because it's going to really help. If you're somebody that's burned out, confused, your online business or podcasting wheels are kind of spinning, you don't feel like you're getting any traction, you're not sure which direction to even put effort into anymore, this is going to help. All right. I'm very excited for this. All right. So I'm calling this the less but better simplification filter. And the process goes as follows. So we're going to focus first on where you're feeling kind of stuck, I should say, and frustrated. So stuck and frustrated. I like to use the acronym HALF. I learned that from Joe Polish from the I Love Marketing podcast. HALF is hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. So the first list we're going to make is the HALF list, HALF, hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. What with your podcast process, what with your online business systems, what is feeling hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating? All right, this probably will not be a hard list to make. Just sit down and okay, TikTok videos takes me forever. Nobody responds. YouTube shorts, the only people that respond are angry 10-year-olds that say mean things. This is my personal list, by the way. LinkedIn, I spend forever creating a post, and the only people that respond are professional podcast promoter guys from some country I've never heard of before. So that's kind of what my HALF list looks like. But for you, it might be podcast editing, or anything. I can't make this list for you. You have to sit down and think what is feeling really hard, what is feeling annoying, what is feeling kind of lame and frustrating. Make that list. All right. The next step is we're going to try to narrow it down to the top three. Spoiler alert, we're angling towards putting something on pause for 30 days, at least one thing. Okay. So that's what we're angling towards here. And I know that can be a little bit scary, but we're going to work through this together. I got you by the hand, pod pals. So we're going to narrow it down to the top three. And with that top three, I want you to make a few more notes on those top three HALF list members specifically. The first thing I want you to ask yourself is, if you were to stop doing this activity for 1 month, how'd that make you feel? So let's say we talk about TikTok videos and you're feeling that that's on the half list because, it takes you a while, you do a dumb dance and then maybe you get 500 views, but nobody ever comments, nobody ever, messages you and say, I've started listening to your podcast because of this TikTok video. You're not getting clients, you're not getting any brand growth. And that could, insert any social media platform. Maybe that's Instagram, maybe that's Facebook, maybe that's Pinterest, LinkedIn, whatever. Maybe it's Threads. All right. So if you were to stop doing this specific activity that's on the half list, HALF list, for 1 month, so we're not saying forever, just 1 month. Well, if we put it on pause for 1 month, how would that make you honestly feel? All right. Second question, how much time would that save you? So look at your top three. Putting on pause, how would that make you feel? How much time could that potentially save you? Now, we'll go ahead and make some notes on the other side of the coin and go, what are the potential negative aspects of doing this? So how could this negatively impact you? So let's say, again, it's TikTok videos. And you're like, well, if I stopped doing this, it would make me feel great because I really don't like making videos and I feel frustrated by the lack of engagement. Okay, how much time would that save me? Well, I've been spending about 90 minutes a week trying to make TikTok videos. So about 90 minutes. All right, now what are the potential negative side effects of doing this? One, if we're all being honest with ourselves, one of the potential negative aspects of doing this, we'll feel the FOMO, the fear of missing out. That's going to happen. You will have people go, hey, why aren't you doing TikTok videos anymore? Everybody that's smart is doing TikTok videos. You're going to feel that. And I guarantee you listen to some podcast that whatever it is you decide to put on, you're thinking about putting on pause, you're going to hear a podcast, you're going to hear an expert saying that this is the best way to do it. And you're going to see that. You're going to hear that. So that's one of the negative things. Could you potentially miss out on somebody that would have been a potential client or a listener that would have seen a video in the next month? There's potential for that. We have to be honest with ourselves. So make notes about that as well. What are the potential negative aspects of putting each of these top three on pause for 30 days? All right. Now, the next hard decision. It's like an episode of The Bachelor, y'all. We watched that at my house. I got my daughter, Hannah, who just turned 10, is obsessed with The Bachelor. My wife has always been obsessed with this. Any dating TV show she's all about. They also watch Bachelor in Paradise, which I'm like, that's a little more adult. They're going to the overnight suite a little bit often for my 10-year-old daughter to be watching that one. Just side note, as a dad, I don't love that, but we gotta hand one of these HALFs the final rose here and put it on pause. Actually, we're sending that one out the door. That's the one that's getting kicked at the curb. This is whichever HALF that we pick, that's the one that cries on the limousine, on the way to the airport or whatever. So we got to put one of these on pause for a month. You gotta love the Bachelor analogies. So that's going to be up to you. And again, the key thing is, like, maybe you come down to, okay, it's TikTok videos, LinkedIn posts, or like your newsletter. Okay. And you're going to pick at least one. You can pick more than one, but you have to pick at least one. Like, that's the challenge of this. And we're just putting on pause for a month. So we're getting ready to start a new month here. March is coming up. So we're going to say for March, no, whatever you choose, TikTok video, LinkedIn post, newsletter. Hell, maybe it's your podcast. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't recommend it, but maybe it is. All right. So whatever that thing is, that's what we're going to decide to put on pause. And then you don't have to make this decision in the moment. Like, this is something to take some time and think about. All right. So that's the first half of our equation, the HALF. We made that HALF half list. We narrowed it down to the top three. We asked ourselves, if we were to stop doing this activity for 1 month, how would that make me feel? How much time would that save me? What are the potential negative aspects of putting this activity on pause? Then we pick one and we put it on pause. And it's an experiment. And the thing that you've always got in your back pocket is if this turns out to be a disaster, you can just go right back to it. All right. So just keep that in mind. This isn't a forever breakup. It's one of those episodes of The Bachelor where they come back. They come back at that they're at that altar, and that one person always comes back. It's like, I really love you. And then maybe I love you too. And maybe you get back together. I don't know. All right. I wasn't planning to make all these Bachelor analogies. I promise. It's the first time I've done this. Maybe it's the little extra bit of caffeine I had before I hit the record button. Anyway, that's the half portion of this framework, the less but better simplification filter. Now let's get into the fun stuff. Now I've created, so if we went with my TikTok example, you were spending 90 minutes a week, which is kind of on the low end for video stuff, might I say. And you said to put that one on pause for 90 days. Now we've got 90 minutes in the bank. All right. What are we going to do with that? Let's go to the ELF side of the equation. Easy, lucrative, fun. ELF. All right. So the next list, make a list of everything that is feeling ELF with your podcast and with your online business. So, for me, things like anything writing is going well. Anything with audio podcasting is ELF. My discovery call system is ELF. Creating tools like this. I'm loving the Threads app. I'm loving my newsletter. I'm loving, doing live workshops, loving. All these things are ELF. Switched up my Download Growth Club to a lifetime membership, loving that. So that's my ELF list. Now we're going to narrow it down to that top 3, and we're going to have some fun with this. So what are the 3 most ELF, easy, lucrative, and fun? Like the top 3 things that if you could just pour even more time into, you would absolutely love it. And you're almost certain you'd get a positive result in some way, shape, or form. All right. So then we're going to make some notes. You've got your top 3 and you go, all right, if you had extra time to focus on these activities or this specific activity, we're going to make a note on each one. What could potentially happen? What are the positive side effects? So for me, if I'm like, wow, let's look at my newsletter. I love writing my newsletter. I get clients from my newsletter. I get opt-ins and build my list through my newsletter. What if I could spend an extra 90 minutes a week prepping and preparing content for that, or learning about how to write better newsletters, or learning about how to get more people on my list so they can experience my newsletter? What are the benefits of that? Or another one of my ELF things is Threads. I freaking love that app. What if I had another 90 minutes a week to just engage, to write more super threads, to engage on other people's posts and add value and scoop up audience members and add to my listenership with my show and add email list subscribers? What if I had more time to invest in the show and then in the audio podcast? That's another one of my ELF things. All right. So this is a lot of fun. Really put yourself into that. Okay, we're putting TikTok on pause for a month. I've got this 90 minutes. Where do I redistribute that? We're going to narrow it down to the top 3. Look at the time. If we did have to invest extra in that, those specific 3 opportunities, then what could potentially happen? And again, we're going to choose at least one to invest your extra time into that. And again, that extra time that we're getting from pausing that half activity that we put on pause just for 30 days. Now, here is a key action step. You go through all this and like, half, ELF, awesome. I did all this. I feel great about it. You actually have to do it. It probably would help if you told somebody about it. Again, if you're inside my Download Growth Club, if you're inside my online business academy for podcasters, we will probably have some I'm not going to say probably, we will have some accountability around this. So it's like, hey, what are you putting on pause for 30 days? What are you reinvesting that time into? And then like, you have to get into your calendar and block off that new time. So for me, I've been, like I said, I've been using this process quite a bit, and I'll show you some real life examples. Now, this should be helpful because I know a lot of you read my newsletter. Comes out every Thursday. If you're not plugged into that, you definitely should be. It's a great resource. It's not just a rehashing of the podcast. It's not a big promotion of just go listen to the episode. It's additional and extra content. I'd sit down and I write it, and whenever I teach, I teach. Many important people love it. So an example would be with me. I quit posting on TikTok. I quit posting even like YouTube Shorts. I do virtually nothing on LinkedIn. I copy and paste my newsletter into LinkedIn, and still the same thing. Like people that just podcast promoters are commenting on it, and that's about it. So I took that extra time. I put all those things on pause and got a lot of time back. And I'm like, I want to reinvest this into my newsletter. And if you are subscribed to my newsletter over the last several weeks, you've probably noticed it's more robust. There's more content in there. I've added like podcast launch tips, listener or reader questions of the week. We're answering those. I'm putting up more robust, like core topics, so whatever the core topic of the week is. It's just thicker and more robust. And what I've done, like I sit down and I write. That core topic is written in the moment. That's my thing. I sit down and I write it. But all the other little segments, I can prep in advance. So I'm taking all this extra time that I've got from not trying to be everywhere on social media. Essentially, I put that on pause. I can always go back to it if I need to. But I've reinvested it into one of my ELF, focus points with the newsletter. Reinvesting that time, and I'm prepping the newsletter. So I'm spending that extra hour at least on Wednesdays, making notes for the different segments, curating the questions, getting everything set up so I can make it more robust, making notes. And then Thursday morning, I sit down and I write it. And I would like to say it's a lot better. It was good to begin with, but the last month or so, it's gotten better, getting really good feedback from people are enjoying it. So that's always good. And so that's an example. Let me give you another example, because I have to lead by example. I have to put my money where my mouth is. All right. So I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna be happening with the show. And this might be a little bit of a shocker for some of you with the audio podcast. All right. This Friday, at least for the next month, will be the final Friday episode. I'm putting the Friday episodes on pause. I can always come back to them. I can always add them back in. But the Friday episodes will be put on pause. So I'll go back to one episode per week. All right. So the Friday episodes themselves weren't necessarily on my HALF list, but sometimes it's effective to go through the ELF side of the equation first and go, okay, here are all these things that I'd really like to spend more time on. What could I do less of to find some time to reinvest into these things? And that's kind of the way I approach that Friday episode. I'm like, I'm doing a ton of podcast audits, which I love doing, and I'm going to still do them. But I would like to do less of those every single week, reinvest that time into more robust Tuesday episodes, my newsletter, and threads. Those are my big three. Those are my big three ELF things. The Tuesday episodes, the Thursday newsletter, and posting 3 times a day on threads. That's the ELF equation for me. Tuesday episode podcast, Thursday newsletter, 3 times a week, 3 times a day, every day on threads. That's what I'm focusing on. So anything that I put on pause, I'm dumping back into those 3 things primarily. All right. So yeah, this Friday will be the last Friday episode, at least for a month. And I will still do podcast audits. So I know some of you will ask, so I'll just tell you now, we'll still be doing primarily solo episodes. We'll be mixing some guest episodes in there. And then the idea right now to get my coaching episodes in, I'm going to be doing, this is just a working title. Maybe if you guys have a better title idea for this type of an episode, you can email me, podcastingbusinessschool@gmail.com, or message me on Instagram, Podcasting Business School. No DMs on threads yet. I'm waiting for that. Some people hate that idea, but I actually would like it. But yeah, so with the coaching episodes, I'm going to call them a coaching megasode. The coaching megasode will have 2, probably 3 coaching episodes in one. I'm going to kind of curate it a little bit to where one will probably be a podcast audit. Another one will probably be one of my online business academy hot seats. And then I'll probably have one of my certified podcast growth coaches come in and do a guest seat podcast audit. So you're going to get kind of 3 different flavors. It'll be about 90 minutes long, 60 to 90 minutes long. And I'll kind of have a little introduction to each one. We'll timestamp it. So if you want to skip forward to one of the specific episodes, and, so it'll be a little bit more robust. It'll be a longer episode. I'm still going to have the coaching episode. That's a strategy that I truly believe in. I teach, I preach it to all you to start doing coaching episodes, especially if you're a service provider and you want to build expert positioning. Now, before you all follow suit here, one of the things that made this decision easier was I have hundreds of coaching episodes in my RSS feed. So if you're brand new to the show and you listen backwards from here, you're going to hear me coaching hundreds of times. All those Friday episodes for the past 3 years. All right. So yeah, I've got hundreds of coaching episodes logged. If you're at like 3 coaching episodes or one, honestly, like less than 25, then, that second episode a week is probably still a good idea just to get the volume of coaching episodes. A lot of people that I'm working with in my academy, we talk about this, and I'm really like, we got to kind of race to get to 25 coaching episodes to help establish expert positioning. And once you get there, we can make some strategic decisions. And that's kind of what I'm making here. It's like, okay, I've got 500 and however many, 50, whatever episodes. That's a lot. That's a lot of volume. So adding 2 episodes every single week is kind of a big ask for a new listener. And I know that could stress some new listeners out. Like, man, that's a lot, and it overwhelms them. So it's an experiment that I'm going to partake in and go, all right, Tuesday episodes only, really make those better, invest extra time in the Tuesday episode, invest extra time in my newsletter and in promoting my newsletter, and invest extra time in doing threads every day. And might I add, invest extra time working with all the people that are in my awesome programs, like my clients. Like, I get extra time with them. I joke around, especially with my online business academy for podcasters members. Like, we have a group Voxer chat, and I love that thing. And I'm in there dropping ideas every day. And since I've been doing this daily threads writing challenge, it's like my mind muscles, my mind biceps have gotten bigger. My idea factory is cranking. So I am, communicating with them and putting new tools in their toolbox and creating all these different things. And I actually told them that I've got several new things and concepts and tools that I've created that I want to teach them, but I'm trying to just roll them out once per week, so I don't go, here are 12 new things. But I'm investing this extra time already from not trying to be everywhere on social media and things like that. And it's been great. Let me tell you that, again, I feel the world beating that drum of be everywhere, do all the things, focus all this time on YouTube and video and all this stuff. I feel that, I see it, I hear it. And I'm just kind of going, talk to the hand. No, thanks. That's not for me. And I love my schedule right now. I love my business. I love just the pace that my business is moving at. And I'm going to lead the way. And if any of you are like, hey, this sounds awesome, and this might be the guy I want to hitch my wagon to and learn from, then yeah, just stay tuned. I've got a lot of great content. If you kind of want to go next level and think of, talk about working together, obviously hit the link in the show notes, get signed up for a podcast profit potential discovery call. We can talk about doing business together, or tell you more about my academy and things like that. But really exciting things coming down the pipeline for the show, for the entire podcasting business school brand. So Pod Pals, I hope that this tool is helpful. I hope this process is helpful, and take some time and work through it. All right. I'll make some notes in the show notes that you've got those of like the exact questions and the timing and everything. And that way, really, I think this one truly, I know I put that title out there, a strategy that might save your podcast and your online business. I believe it. I got an email from somebody today. No joke. And she was like, hey, I thought about working with you in the past, and I got way overwhelmed with everything, and I just put everything on pause. Burned out. Her words. Now she's back, ready to go and enjoying the simplification. She jumped inside my lifetime membership for the Download Growth Club, and she's like, I love the simplification theme. And this is what I tell all my people, like when I'm doing a discovery call and when we get to the point of, hey, are we going to work together or not? I'm telling everybody that one thing. I'm like, listen, I'm going to give you things to do, but my overall goal is to take more things off of your plate and tell you to stop doing more things than the amount of things I tell you to do. So maybe I give you 3 things to focus on and start doing that are new. But what if we take 10 or 8 or 7 things off your plate and say, put these on pause? These don't matter right now. We can come back to these. It's all, for me right now, it's all about simplification and focus. That's what I'm obsessed with coaching. That's what I'm obsessed with my content, is helping you do less, but better. Pod Pals, I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting me on my journey to do less, but better, and more things coming down the pipeline. With that said, I'm going to send you out into the world wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. I will see you on the next episode. If you need a little bit of help with your podcast launch, growth, or monetization strategy, head on over to my website, www.podcastingbusiness.school, and get signed up for a free podcast profit potential discovery call. During this free 20-minute discovery call session, I'm going to analyze your podcasting brand and tell you where I think you're missing on an opportunity for profits. Next, I'm going to tell you exactly what I suggest that you do as your next step. If I've got an offer that would help you accelerate the process, we can discuss working together as well. So head on over to my website, www.podcastingbusiness.school, and click on the Discovery Call button to schedule your free Podcast Profit Potential Discovery Call.